Welcome to News Now Alberta. This is Special Ed. Today's incident happens in Laval, Quebec, where two cops racially profile men attack him, tase him, then give him tickets for not showing license and registration when they stopped him out of his car.
Gulad Omar got tased and punched as two officers were on top of him, attempting to restrain him.
I can't breathe, brother.
Omar can be heard gasping for air, pleading for his life. The Mississauga man was in Quebec for the weekend with relatives and friends when on September 1st he got out of a rented car when he says an interaction with Laval police came out of nowhere and for no reason.
We just stepped out of our car. We took about 20 steps away from the car, and the police came up to us, and then they drove like onto the curb, and then they started yelling. They said, "Get back into the car." I said, well, and they hit their lights, even though they just came from up the road. So I didn't know what was going on. I asked, "What are we being detained for?"
Omar says an officer proceeded to push him and after exchanging some words, threw him onto the ground. That's when his cousin started to record.
He was tased multiple times, pepper sprayed while the spit mask was over his face, right? Beaten, hit in the groin, punched in the head, and not one reason for the detainment was given, right? And I'm just thinking, like, what did we do to these guys for them to act this way? Is it just because the color of our skin that they're going to do all this? It doesn't really make sense.
The pair say after police backup arrived, the assault continued. Paramedics were eventually called, and Omar says after being diagnosed with a concussion, he was billed $350 for the ambulance ride. He was then issued two tickets of $176 each, one for failing to provide a driver's license and another for failing to produce registration or insurance.
You feel helpless at that moment. So it was the scariest moment of my life, to be honest, and I wouldn't wish it on nobody. I wouldn't wish it on nobody ever.
In a statement, Laval police say given the late hour and the fact that the car was near a bar, officers intercepted it to check the driver's ability to operate the vehicle. They claim the individual refused to cooperate and resisted.
It made my blood boil.
Founder of the Red Coalition, Joël de Bellefeuille, says racial profiling is common in police forces throughout the province. Just last week, a Quebec Superior Court judge ruled that racial profiling is a systemic issue within the Montreal police force and ordered the City of Montreal to compensate victims up to $5,000.
These people aren't making up stuff. They're not crying wolf. This is a real phenomenon. It's a real problem.
De Bellefeuille has filed a complaint over the incident with the Police Ethics Commission. Omar, meanwhile, says he wants justice to be served and for those who made him fear for his life to be held accountable. Felicia Perillo, Global News, Montreal.
This was a brutal attack, and if you watch other videos, you see that the backup also attacks this man. The reason given was that he was parked close to a bar, which I guess is illegal in Quebec. The driver was about 20 steps from his car when the cops pulled in code 3 and jumped him for not answering questions fast enough, I guess. They charged him for not showing his license when he was not in the car. They called an ambulance for him because they see that they really hurt him, then charge him for the ambulance. I don't think you should be charged for an ambulance if cops call it for you. I would bring the bill to the cops and throw it in their face and say, "Here, you pay for this." A complaint is not going to stop these tyrant pigs, and it's hard to sue cops in Canada. The Laval police already had an excuse of checking if the man was sober because he was parked close to a bar. What do you think of these racist cops? Let me know in the comments. Please like, share, and subscribe, and check out my Patreon where for $1 a month you can get my videos a week in advance with other perks coming. Thank you.